Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Still unnamed. We don't know what we're calling it. Today I wanted to go through some time blocking with your cards. So before I hop in, look at how freaking cute this is. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby to hold my card deck. And it's just like, I love that it's clear in the front. I had to get something because I actually dropped my box the other day and they were like all over the floor. So it keeps them like up still. I don't have to keep the box in there, but I have been for when I want to just like, take them out, put them like this, and then, yeah, they just go like this. But yeah, it's at Hobby Lobby, super cute, love it. Okay, so I apologize in advance for this weird shadow. I as you know, in July we moved. This is like a weird lighting situation in here that I have not figured out yet. I'm gonna have to figure out something. But what I wanted to go through today was, since we live in such a digital world and using your time wisely is so important, how do we pull it all together, right? So I have my cards, okay? Cards, right? And there's definitely a time and a place to be using the cards. And I feel like this is also really applicable to anybody who uses a paper planner, right? There's times where it really makes sense to be doing things on paper or in your cards. And then there's times where it really makes sense to be doing it digitally, okay? So I'm gonna go through that. But what I wanted to do is that I typically, like in the past, have been one of those time blockers where like I use the hourly layout, right, in my planner. And it was like at 9:45, take a shower. At 10 o'clock, eat breakfast. Like, who has like that? It's overwhelming to be so time block specific like that, which is why I switched to doing the card method, was that I needed to be able to live a little slower on purpose. Being a mom and a CEO of an online company, sometimes there's just too many dings, too many bells, too many things coming at you. And all those notifications are other people's priorities, not your priorities, okay? So I needed a way for me to reduce all that. So that's what started the cards, but I still have to find this way to sort of coexist between this paper method and being online where I can collaborate with my team and like other contractors with clients, because we were online, we have to be digital in that time. So I was going through block scheduling, time blocking, and I was thinking about how when we were in school, we followed like a block schedule, right? So you had your blocks, and in the morning you would get ready for school. Once you got to school, you had like a block, right? And you would do science during that class. My kids, actually, they just started doing block scheduling and they're in elementary school, which that feels really young to me, but hey, I guess they found it works better. So when you're in science class, right, you're not worrying about math, right? Or you could be if you have a test last minute that you forgot to study for. And so in science, you're cramming for math. But ideally, right, when you're in science class, you're not worrying about math class. Once the bell rings though, and you transition to math class, then you worry about math class, right? And then after school, when you come home from like, and you do like your soccer, or I was in volleyball, then you worried about volleyball, right? You weren't on your phone, like messaging about science or math or whatever. You were at volleyball and you were like with your pads on and you were working out and having practice, right? So these were all like little focused times of the day. So that's what I kind of put together here in this little printout. It's on scrap paper. I'm really big about using scrap paper here. I will link a way for you to get a hold of this below if you want to grab it. But it starts on Monday and then goes to Friday. And the reason I did it that way is because Saturday and Sunday are gonna be really similar. So it doesn't make any sense to like have Sunday over here and then Saturday over here, and then this way I can just do it across, right? And this is not something I'm gonna be using and changing every week. The idea of this is kind of just like with batching your day. I'm kind of batching your week. I'm kind of batching my days, okay? And it's my ideal block schedule. So ideally, you would stick to this schedule. It would not change every week. You're gonna do it once and then you're gonna leave it alone, okay? I'm gonna put this together and go through it with you. And then hopefully it makes a little more sense as we go through it, okay? So starting with the first block, this is when I wake up, right? And I have to get my kids to school. And then I'm going to, before I used to go to the gym to work out, but it was just honestly between driving to the gym, coming back, it was taking too long. So next week I'm starting a workout routine at home. So in this whole block, and we'll make it the pink block, okay? So this is gonna be the same thing each day. This block, if I use any cards, I could then have these be like pink cards, right? So that they kind of coordinate with each other. So I'm gonna call this the AM block. And these are all the same. So if you're writing and you write too big like me, you could use this whole column, like this whole row, because it's all the same. You could even maybe have the same exact block. I think I may even have the same exact block for Saturdays, to be honest. Okay. Now, try to think about this as like a category, not a specific to-do list, because I know as soon as I post this, people are going to say like, well, what about when this is different? Well, yeah, if it's different, then you don't do it that day. But if for the most part, it's going to go into that block. I think it'll make more sense as I go. All right. So during this AM block, all right, I wake up, right? I weigh, as you guys know, I always weigh. And then I'm gonna make my bed. I'm gonna work out. I'm kind of just doing it in my mind. I'm gonna shower. And then by this time, my kids might be getting up, but we're gonna have breakfast. Okay, now keep in mind, this is not like on Monday I do this and on Tuesday I have breakfast, right? This is the same thing for this whole block. It might have been less confusing if I went straight across. I don't know. So breakfast, shower, right, get dressed. These are obviously not in order because I'm not going to go have breakfast naked. Okay. We would probably clean up after breakfast. I would start a load of laundry. And then I have to check where the vacuum is cleaning that day. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but we have a robot vac, and if I don't check that day, then all of a sudden I get the notifications of like, she sucked up a sock. This is where I would probably thaw dinner. So I like to check what is for dinner and see if anything needs to be thawed. I usually don't do any prep, but I just thaw the like meat or something, right? Bring kids to school. All right. Now, I would probably also, now thinking in mind, like I just brought the kids to school. I may do grocery pickup, but also like my husband's available. He can do grocery pickup. I don't have to worry about it. Okay. Maybe I would tidy up. I'm going to start, I think in this new house, I'm going to separate rooms, right? Or areas. So tidy, maybe do cleaning schedule in this block while everyone's around. This cleaning schedule may fall up and down here, okay? So everything will happen during this block. Now, keep in mind, sometimes, right, when this all happens, I bring my kids to school. Sometimes I don't. What changes this, honestly, is that if my husband is going to the gym after he drops the kids off at school, then I don't go because I don't want to just go to the gym and sit in the car while he's there. That's silly, right? If my husband's not going to the gym, and then I would go with, and I would come back, and then I would get to work. Okay, that's what this work block is going to be, the next one. Okay, so this is going to change slightly. It's going to be, some days, it's going to be like 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. because that's around the time that the kids leave for school. Some days it's going to be 5 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. because if I actually do go to school with them to go do and drop off, like in that scenario I just explained, I'm not blocking to the minute, right? I'm blocking to the transition. So what I mean by that is the thing, like the intermission that happens right here is the kids go to school, right? So we'll just put kids go to school. Okay. And that's why I was saying, like, This is easier if I put Saturday and Sunday at the end, because on Saturday and Sunday, it's probably going to be when the kids wake up. So kids go to school. Now, like I said, some days that's going to be them leaving the house and everyone saying goodbye to me. Some days it's going to be me taking them to school, dropping them off, and coming home, okay? Either way, it's when that thing happens, that intermission, that, I don't know what else to call it besides an intermission, right? When that thing happens, when that bell changes, when we switch periods, right? That's my period switch. So the next one is now my next block. So do you see how this is like much more relaxed than like, okay, 15 minutes, I have to leave. Then 30 minutes, I'll be back. Like it was just too much. It was too much. So once this period change happens, we switch to work. So I'm going to call this work 1, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay. So here's work 1. I want to use work 1 to be my like hardest tasks, right? So this is where I want to do like headphones on projects. So we set up a lot of systems, operations, write SOPs, marketing, we do launches. So this would be like projects. It's really just deep work. Okay. Now, let's color this bad boy. All right, I'm probably not going to color all the way across this time because I feel like that would be less confusing. Work 1. Okay. All right, so the intermission on this one is lunch. Ooh, there's a thunderstorm coming. Hopefully it's not going to be super disruptive. So this would be a lunch break. Now, if anyone, other like CEO moms, this one's sometimes hard. Sometimes you work right through lunch. But I'm going to set an alarm to make sure I do it, okay? Now, again, why this works better is that sometimes the deep work is like fully focused. I need to get this done before I switch tasks, right? But when I was time blocking, if it was like, you need to be done at 12 o'clock, like that was kind of stressful to be like, okay, I have to be done by 12 o'clock. But even if I go 15 minutes over, like, you know, and then especially if this one was a little bit later, and then now you're like a doctor where you're late for all your patients, it was just stressing me out, okay? So deep work, and then we have lunch. So there's your period switch, okay? Your bell or whatever we're gonna call it, okay? This one is when I'm gonna schedule all of my calls. Now I am gonna put some times on this because I think that it is gonna be needed. So this AM block right here. Now this is okay, it's messy. I'm gonna put it all in Google Calendar later, okay? So this one is 5 to 8:30. This one is gonna be 8:30 to 12 because honestly, that's 3.5 hours. That's a pretty long deep work. Like I'm gonna be tired. My brain will be tired after that, okay? So this one would be probably 1-ish to 3:30, maybe 12:30, depends on the day. If I end up just taking a half hour only. The point though is just take a break, right? If I give myself, better to do 1 and schedule my first meeting at 1, right? And then give myself a little space. 1 o'clock, okay? So this is where we're gonna do meetings, team check-ins, other low energy tasks, right? ClickUp. So I have a lot of stuff I have to go into ClickUp to like check check work that the team's done, check questions, all that kind of stuff. Meetings. Now at 3:30 is when we leave to go pick up the kids. So that's my intermission again. Pick up kids. Now, something to note, right? This is not always going to happen, okay? For example, like sometimes clients want to meet at 3:30, and then when that happens, I can't do pickup. My husband does pickup, and I stay behind, and then once my meeting's over, I just go into where I'm supposed to be next, okay? We're not gonna stress about this, okay? You could even set a timer for doing this, like setting this up, so you don't overthink it. You may wanna do that actually, to be honest. So there's gonna be times where this does not work out, right? But on most days, it will work out. Now, there could be also like this one right here when we pick up the kids. This is when I would do extracurricular activities, sports, but I would probably also schedule like doctor's appointments or like hair appointments, things like that. Now, again, it may not work out that I can always get them at 3:30 and go straight to do these hair things, right? It may be that we have to do like a doctor's appointment here during this block. It's okay. For the most part, it's not like your kids have an appointment, like a doctor's appointment every single week, right? For the most part, those are like once a year unless they're sick, right? Which if they're sick, you're not doing any of this anyways. So anyways, this, it's okay if it's not perfect and you don't stick to this every week. The point is we're trying to create a guide to follow that we can try to stick to, okay? So after we pick up the kids, this is after school block. We're doing snacks, errands. We're doing chores, sports, homework if they have it. They're a little young for homework. We're gonna have dinner. We're gonna clean up dinner. Dinner might be on the road, depending on, like in the car. This is when, with chores, we would put away laundry, since I threw in laundry up here, okay? So this is when we would do all those kind of things. Again, going back to like, this does not have to be super strict. So this is roughly 3:30 to 6:30, okay? Now, does this mean if we don't finish dinner and clean up by 6:30, everything is broken? No. I mean, the intermission, right? The thing that changes the shifts. I gotta think up a name for that. If you have an idea of what to call these things that change it, put that in the comments for me, okay? So this would be after dinner and chores, okay? Because my kids have chores like emptying the dishwasher, right? Getting their backpacks. Ooh, let's put fill dishwasher. Then your backpacks need to be ready for the next day, right? So those sort of things have to be done before they can veg, okay? And the same thing for me. I actually make myself like a little rule. I wait until after dinner and the kitchen counters are clean. And when all that's done, I light a candle and then I get to veg, okay? So after dinner, this is usually like 6:30 to 8-ish, okay? This is until, hold on, let's be consistent and put all of this is my OCD right here, kicking in, okay? So this is now after dinner block. And this is roughly 6:30 to 8 p.m. when my kids go to bed, okay? Now this kind of motivates them if you think about it, because it's like you're cutting into your time. So my kids like to watch movies, sometimes they want to play a video game, sometimes they want to color, but they're cutting into their free time if they take forever doing this stuff. So it's a great way to have them get their stuff done, okay? So after dinner here, this is when we are relaxing, we are bored, gaming, video, games, reading, coloring, okay? It's basically, we're doing family fun things. All right, now the last block is when the kids go to bed. Yes, let's put this bad boy in here. All right, so, which color have I not used yet? We'll do this purpley one. After kids go to bed. Okay. All right. So after the kids go to bed, right? This is now when, this is the PM block. I know, super creative. Okay. So this is when I will usually Netflix binge. I will probably put my laundry away, is what I usually do while I'm Netflixing. I get ready for bed, lay my clothes out. I will read sometimes. Oh, I sometimes read here too, especially in the morning. See, this is what happens is you remember things of like, oh yeah, I'd like to do that too. That's on my list. Meditate. I'm not the greatest speller. Okay. I will also sometimes do projects if I have energy. Holy. Did you guys just hear that? That was crazy. Just jumped a little. Okay. And I would do any sort of projects. Maybe close out. I will check maybe like, sometimes I'll check messages one more time. Depends on what's going on. All right, and then I have to go to bed because I'm getting up uber early. So if you do backwards the time, I need to be to bed at 9 p.m. So this one's 8 to, sometimes it's 10. Let's be honest. It should be 9, but oh my gosh, I just put 10 a.m. because, you know, who wants to stay awake until 10 a.m.? All right, I'm gonna put 10 p.m. because I'm gonna be honest. That's usually what it is. But that's a problem with when your kids get older and then you get less time at night by yourself. Let's do one little color. So let's relate this back because you're probably wondering like, great, Corinne, what does this have to do with the cards, right? So let's relate this back to the cards, all right? I would, on this, right, I would have cards for these. I would have cards for this. I don't think I would have cards to plan out my family time. And then I would maybe have cards for this, okay? Maybe I would be doing projects, and then maybe my evening routine would maybe be on a card, okay? So this has to be a digital to-do list, and this has to be digital, okay? Because these are things I'm doing with my team. They're related to my calendar, right? So I have to have this digitally so that I can be sharing with them about, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that, blah, blah, blah. It has to all be digital. My team doesn't need to know that I'm getting in the morning for my morning routine. I like to wake up, weigh myself, make my bed, work out, shower, breakfast. I don't need to put this inside my ClickUp, right? They don't need to know that. They don't care, as well as all it does. Like I could make it private if I wanted to with my ClickUp, but sure. But at the same time, it creates a bunch of clutter for all these tasks that then when I need to sit down and actually get these things done, okay, it kind of clutters it up for me to try to find these things that I need to pay attention to. So these are then in my cards. You could even make a morning card deck. If you watch my other video, I just switched out some of my cards for a memory card deck that I do at night. So these could be like your morning cards. Then this is your work block. You could have an afternoon cards, or you could have one set of cards, right? Have pink cards, yellow cards, and then a different color card, okay? I know that's not the Sidetrack executive way. They say that your cards are supposed to be the color based on the frequency, but we're allowed to do what we want, okay? So you can do the cards in a different color. You could have a different card deck. You could follow the Sidetrack Home Executive's color coordinating, right? And just put AM block, after school block, PM block, right in the, like when you do them, so you know when you're supposed to do them, right? But this now becomes like your schedule. And to be honest, people who, I think I have some, I've never been, like actually, what is the word called? I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but I definitely think I have some ADHD tendencies. So my brain does better when we're just following the same thing every single day, okay? We're not going crazy. We're not switching it. Yes, sometimes, like we talked about, we're not going to always be following the same exact thing. But for the most part, we're going to be following the same schedule, and it's going to be so much better. Now, if you want to hang out with me and watch me do my weekend block, you can. I'm going to do this one, but here you go. Here's your plan, right? So this is going to make it so much more less like brain fatigue. Now, if you are not picking up kids and doing all these things, maybe you put another work block in here if you need more work time, right? Maybe you put a work block in here. You figure it out for your schedule, okay? And that's why I made it empty is so you can fill in these blocks and make them your own. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this block schedule versus time blocking, okay? I'll put a link so you can get a hold of this printout, okay? And as always, hit the bell to subscribe, all the jazz, so you can be notified when I make another video.